Guys, I'm studying for the suffixes of my midterm book, so this is how it looks like, and there's another page of a little bit of stuff. So let's get studying. So the first suffix I have is algia, A-L-G-I-A, which means pain. And when I hear algia, I think of alligator. And when you think of alligator, you think of their chomping teeth, and it hurts. It would hurt, I assume, if they bit you with those chomping teeth. So, algia, alligator, pain. Okay, and the example it gives here is gastralgia, which is stomach pain. Next one is cele, or C-E-L-E, and it means hernia or protrusion, which is like a bump. And when I think of cilia, I do see the C-E-L, and it's kind of like a cell, and it's I don't know, it's like a big cell, like if you're in a prison cell or something, you're enclosed, and it's I don't know, that's how I'll think of it. And the example it gives here is cystocele, which means protrusion of the bladder. So I guess I'll just remember cele as like something that's sticking out. Okay, next one is cyte, C-Y-T-E, which means cell. And the example it gives here is erythrocyte, which means red cell. Well, I just need to know that one of the suffixes that starts with a C does not mean cell, and the other one that doesn't look like cell the one that doesn't look like cell means cell. So seal doesn't mean cell, but it looks like cell. And cyte doesn't look like cell, but it means cell. So I'll try to remember it like that, because there's only 2 suffixes I see on this page. Next one is dynia, or dynia. I think it's dynia, D-Y-N-I-A, which means pain. Well, when I hear the nia, dynia, I hear of whiny. I don't know if you guys hear that, but it's if you're in pain, you're gonna whine, right? Dynia, and also if you're, you can hear the word die in it, and maybe dying might be painful sometimes. The example it gives here is cardiodynia, which means heart pain. So I just have to know that dynia, the dyne and the whiny, is pain. You'll be in pain. Next one is ectasis, which means dilation. And it's spelled E-C-T-A-S-I-S. And when I look at this, I think of extend. Ecstasis is extend, I guess, and it's a dilation. The example gives here isn't really helpful. It's bronchiectasis, which means dilated bronchi. But I hear the word extend in this word, ecstasis, which means dilation, which is similar, getting bigger, Next one is gen, G-E-N, and it means that which produces, which is something that will produce. And an example it gives here is pathogen, which is something that produces disease. And this is really confusing with the 2 other suffixes that follow, which is genesis and genic. So genesis is produces or generates. So I think if I think of specific examples with these suffixes, then maybe it'll be more helpful. Even when I hear the cis, I think of a process, photosynthesis, that type of thing. And this process would produce and generate things. I don't know. So I hear the pathogen, or those things that end in gin, it's a specific thing, or collagen. And genesis is the example gives here is spermatogenesis, which is produces sperm. But I think genesis would be more the process that produces or generates. and genic is producing or produced by. So if I say the example is carcinogenic, which is producing cancer. If you say anything that ends in ic, like, for example, like anything that ends in ic, like photogenic or things like that, it's more like, what do you call it? You're producing this good picture, I guess. I don't know. Those three I have to write down and remember. Okay, next one is ia, which is a state or condition. And the example is bradycardia, which is the condition of slow heart. And this to me is like a lot of the phobia. The phobias, like I don't know specific phobias, but there's like whatever phobia, like fear of holes or something like that, and it's a condition, so I think that should be fine. I just need to find an example and think of it that way, so it's a state or condition. Next one is iasis, which is an abnormal condition. I guess this abnormal condition, the example is lithiasis, which is abnormal condition of stones. That's not really helpful because I don't really know what that means, but I guess the iasis I might need to study more too. Next one is iatry, and it means medical treatment. So the example is podiatry. And it means medical treatment of the foot. I don't know, like psychiatry, whatever those trees, they are medical treatment. So I just, again, need to think of an example. Next one is ism, state of. And the example gives here is hypothyroidism, which is state of low thyroid. Ism, I mean, I've seen a lot of regular words with the suffix ism, colonialism, things like that. But I should just know that it's a state of a specific thing. If I say nationalism, like from history, it would be like the state of being super nationalistic. Or I don't know. Okay, next one, itis, which means inflammation. That's a pretty common one that I've heard a lot, so I think that should be fine. Logist, logist, which is one who studies, like cardiologist, anthropologist, things like that. The one who studies, that should be pretty simple. Like biologist, things like that. Okay, next one is logy, logy, study of. So that goes hand in hand with logist, which is the whatever cardiologist will study cardiology, right? They go hand in hand. Next one is lysis, which means destruction, which I mean, in biology, we also learned something about, like, the cell lysis, which is, like, when the cell, like, I think it bursts, like, the cell, like, lysis. I don't remember, but it's just something along those lines that maybe will help me remember. And the next one is the same definition, lytic, which means destruction as well. And I think I should just know that, I mean, they sound pretty similar. I guess I'll try to remember it this way, just for now at least. Next one is malacia. I don't know. Abnormal softening. Okay. When I hear this, I think of molasses. I think of that, which I think, if I'm not wrong or if I'm not forgetting, I think you use that to make pecan pie. And it's like pretty soft. And I guess a lot of the ones here are like abnormal, like the meaning is not a normal thing. So I should just remember it's an abnormal, and molasses is like nice and soft. You think of pecan pie, the filling is nice and soft, I guess you can say. Okay, next one is megaly, enlargement or large. Well, I first see the mega and I already know it means large, and then yeah, I guess I can go from there, like enlargement or large. And the example gives here is cardiomegaly, which is enlarged heart. Next one is oid, O-I-D, and this means resembling. Um, I know. Oh, the example it gives here is fibroid, which is resembling fibers. I mean, I don't really use resembling a lot in my daily vocabulary, but I when I see oid, I think of steroid, but I don't know how resembling would fit into that. I'll think about it. Next one we have here is oma, which means tumor mass or swelling. Um, when I see oma, I think oh my god, like oh my, like tumor. It's like it could be cancerous or non-cancerous, but if you see a tumor, you might go oh my, and it's a mass and it's a swelling. So those are the definitions: tumor, mass, and swelling. Next one we have here is osis, O-S-I-S, which is abnormal condition. The example gives here is cyanosis, which is abnormal condition of being blue. That's cool. I do think that this osis is also used a lot in biology that I learned, like meiosis, mitosis, but I don't think those were specifically abnormal. I don't know. I'll think about it. Next one we have here is pathy, which means disease. I think that is also a pretty common one. I remember, I think it was the word roots. I think it was like the path or something, and it means like pathogen. It's like a disease, so I think that should be fine. Phobia, we know, is fear. I think phobia is like a word as well, and we know that means fear. Next one is plasia or plasia, which means development or growth. I need to remember the differences between plasia, plasm, and I think there was one more, but I need to know the difference between those two. And plasm is formation or development. So I should just remember that I remember my teacher told me about like plasm is like plasma, and plasma is like formation of something, but I don't really know that. So let me think. I see plasia. Okay, well, I know the formation has an M and plasm has an M, compared to like plasia, it's growth, and then plasm, the one with the M, formation. So I just need to remember the three meanings: development, growth, formation, and then I need to know plasia is not the one with the M. I mean, both have development, but plasia doesn't have formation, and plasm has formation. Okay, next one we have here is we have ptosis, which is drooping. The example it gives here is bleparoptosis, which is a drooping eyelid. Well, this I haven't heard a whole lot. Ptosis. When I see ptosis, I see potato, and maybe you have like a sack of potatoes and they're like drooping around your back. Maybe that's like a visualization that maybe I'll try to think of when I see this word ptosis, potatosis. Okay. Okay, next one we have here is Rage, R-R-H-A-G-E, which is excessive or abnormal flow. And let me think. I mean, this also has a lot of like really similar, confusing other suffixes that have completely different meanings. So let's just go over the other three. So we have Ragia, which is abnormal flow or abnormal flow condition. Rhea, R-R-H-E-A, is discharge or flow, and Rhexis, R-R-H-E-X-I-S, is rupture. Okay, so the first one, Raj, excessive or abnormal flow. Let me think. I think that this Raj, it reminds me of garage, and none of the other ones are like garage. So Raj is like garage, and my garage is packed to the point where it's kind of excessive, and it's like the stuff in there is just too much. So excessive, and then the abnormal flow I can't think of, but yeah, I'll see. And then the Raja, which is just abnormal flow condition. So this is a condition. Let's look at the example. So for Raja, it's cytorrhagia, which is abnormal flow from the bladder. Well, this is tricky. I'll see what I can do with this one. Next one, Rhea, discharge or flow. I see this discharge and flow, and I think of, what do I think of? I don't know either. I just need to know the double R's, I guess. Next one, Rhexis, means rupture. I think this might be a little easier because I see that E, X, and like the X just has a really dumb, the X is a really dominant letter. So I should know X is like breaking and rupture. None of the other ones mean rupture, so Rhexis might be the easier one to remember. Rhexis will be rupture. And the example it gives here is hysterexis, which means ruptured uterus. Okay, next one is sclerosis, which is hardening. And the other one is stenosis, which is narrowing. I assume these, I don't know, these are pretty similar as well, but not as similar as the double R words. The one with SCLER, cellar, reminds me of celery, and celery is hard, so maybe that's how I remember it. Sclerosis, hardening, celery hardening. Okay, next one is stenosis, and which means narrowing. I mean, I guess if I know the first one, hardening, then I should know that the one without the C and the L, the one that doesn't sound like celery, is narrowing. Stenosis. I think I can remember this just by knowing the other one, but I'll see, because there's only 2 suffixes that start with S in this category. And then we have therapy, something therapy as a suffix, and that means treatment. I think I know that a lot of the chemotherapy, as the example is given, it's a treatment with chemicals. Okay, next one is trophy, which is nourishment or development. The example gives here is hypertrophy, which is excessive development. This is one of them that are like pretty common. I just need to make sure I remember both definitions for trophy. Okay, and we have Yule, U-L-E, which is small. And when I say Yule, I think of molecule, I think molecule is the ending of molecule is the same. And when I think of a molecule, I think of it as a small thing. And the example given here is venule, which is a small thing. So thanks for studying with me with these common suffixes. Bye.